If Marcus Aurelius had a credit card, he would have burned it at the altar of self-mastery. This was a man who ruled over the most powerful empire on earth and still chose to sleep on the floor, eat plain food, and remind himself daily that all things, including wealth, are fleeting. Now imagine dropping him into a 21st century shopping mall, surrounded by buy-now-pay-later offers, algorithmic ads, and endless dopamine loops. He'd look around and ask the one question we've all forgotten: how did freedom become this expensive? We live in a world where financial chaos is the baseline, where personal debt is normalized, where discipline is outdated. And yet, 2,000 years ago, one of the most powerful men in history wrote a personal guide to staying calm, rational, and grounded in the face of disaster. He didn't write it for likes, followers, or fame. He wrote it for survival. That book became Meditations, and inside its pages lies a financial mindset that's more radical and more needed today than ever before. Marcus Aurelius was born in 121 AD into immense privilege. He had access to the best tutors, inherited wealth, and eventually the imperial throne itself. But instead of becoming a tyrant, he became a philosopher king. Influenced by the Stoics, a school of thought obsessed with virtue, restraint, and logic, Marcus trained himself to expect hardship, to accept loss, and to detach from the illusions of control. He lived through plagues, wars, betrayal, and economic decay. Yet his writing remained steady, focused, almost cold in its clarity. His goal wasn't comfort. It was sovereignty of the mind. At the height of the empire, when Rome's reach stretched across continents and its streets overflowed with luxuries from every corner of the known world, Marcus chose simplicity. He warned against indulgence. He distrusted praise. He believed the only true wealth was internal, the ability to live with integrity when the world went mad. It's no wonder modern Stoicism is having a resurgence. But here's the problem. We read cherry-picking quotes for Instagram captions while ignoring the economic engine Marcus was trying to protect himself from, and that engine has only grown more dangerous. Because today's system isn't just chaotic. It's engineered to keep you financially and psychologically off balance. Personal debt in the U.S. is at an all-time high. Credit card interest rates have soared past 20%. Financial literacy remains shockingly low. And every digital platform you interact with is designed to trigger spending, comparison, and dopamine-driven distraction. The result? A society that looks rich, but lives paycheck to paycheck. A generation that's more anxious, less financially stable, and more easily manipulated than any before it. It's in a financial system that survives not by creating real wealth, but by monetizing your emotional instability. This is where Stoicism becomes revolutionary. It's not about suppressing emotion. It's about refusing to be ruled by it, especially in your financial life. The Stoics taught that while we can't control external events, plagues, markets, wars, we can control our response. Marcus reminded himself daily that death, loss, and poverty were natural, that desire was the root of suffering, that self-control was the foundation of freedom. These weren't vague ideas, they were tools, armor against the chaos. If we apply them today, they still work. Imagine approaching your money the way Marcus approached power. Imagine not chasing status symbols, not panicking during market crashes, not needing to upgrade every time your phone carrier tells you to. Imagine recognizing that financial freedom doesn't come from having more, it comes from needing less. This mindset is more than minimalist aesthetics. It's a direct threat to the modern economy. Because if too many people stop over-consuming, the system cracks. Our economy is driven by credit, consumption, and the constant expansion of desire. The idea of enough is a threat. Restraint is unprofitable. And yet restraint is exactly what Marcus practiced. He saw luxury not as a reward, but as a test. He believed that comfort made men soft, that entitlement corroded the soul, and that the only wealth worth having was the kind that couldn't be taken from you. Today, most people define wealth by external markers: the car, the house, the balance sheet, but Marcus would have called that illusion. He'd remind us that real wealth is the ability to remain undisturbed when those things vanish. And that ability is vanishingly rare in a world where one stock dip can trigger mass layoffs, one interest rate hike can upend a family budget, and one Instagram scroll can convince you that your life is a failure unless you buy something new. We're not just financially over-leveraged, we're emotionally overexposed. We treat abundance as normal and discomfort as a glitch. But for the Stoics, discomfort was the training ground. Marcus practiced voluntary hardship, sleeping on hard beds, skipping meals, reminding himself that suffering wasn't the enemy. The enemy was dependency. On praise, on comfort, on outcomes. Now, imagine applying that to your finances. Imagine preparing for volatility instead of reacting to it. Instead of obsessing over market predictions, you build cash reserves, reduce unnecessary expenses, and train yourself to be okay with less. Instead of trying to outturn your anxiety, you dismantle the belief that money will cure it. Instead of measuring success by net worth, you measure it by inner calm. That is Stoic finance. And it might be the only kind of finance that holds up when the world spins out. Look around. Inflation has returned with a vengeance. Governments continue to borrow beyond limits. Central banks are trapped between printing money to avoid recession and raising rates to control the consequences of having printed too much already. Meanwhile, most citizens have no real savings, no insulation, no clarity, only a vague hope that someone up there knows what they are redoing. But if history tells us anything, it's that hope is not a plan. Marcus wouldn't have waited for a bailout. He wouldn't have blamed the system even if the system was broken. He would have started with the only thing he could control: himself, his mind, his habits, his expectations. That's where your power begins too. Because the truth is, you don't need to become a financial expert to build real freedom. You just need to build clarity. What do you actually need? What are you afraid of losing and why? What are you chasing, and is it even yours? Most people don't ask those questions. They just play the game they were handed. And the system loves them for it. But you're not here to be most people. You're here because some part of you knows the numbers don't add up. That something's wrong. That you've been sold a version of success that benefits everyone but you. And maybe what you need isn't another app or another side hustle or another finance guru screaming about ETFs. Maybe what you need is ancient wisdom, spoken softly, practiced daily. So when the markets panic, breathe. When prices rise, simplify. When your feed tells you to consume, decline. And when your fear tells you to react, don't. Because in the end, financial freedom isn't about what you earn. It's about what you own internally. Marcus Aurelius never had a credit card, but he knew the cost of being owned by your desires, and he knew the reward of mastering them. That's real wealth. It's real freedom. And that's how you survive chaos, ancient or modern. If this gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe. History has the answers. I'll show you where to look.